Well, hello there. I am back with another Saturday supplemental. I am recording this on Saturday. The chances of this actually being up on Saturday are questionable, but based upon some a little Twitter poll and some recent feedback that Jerry tells me we've gotten, I've decided to check out the CAO Brazilia, and let's see if I can get that. There we go, because I have got a blinding amount of light shining on me. Yeah, I just looked at it and I can't see anything. So we haven't reviewed on Stogie Review the CAO Brazilia since 2006, and Walt did that, and that's back before video reviews. So in short, we've never done a video review of the Brazilia, which is kind of funny. So now I understand why people are asking for it. And back then, the interesting thing about that is that this was back when they were still doing the cigar rating. Sorry, I'm a little tired. I'm gonna put that up front. It's been a hell of a day, car trouble and stuff. So you have to bear with me a little bit. But yeah, it was back in the days of of them using a rating system, Walt and Jerry. So they gave it a 91 out of 100. I'll make sure to put a link to that in the rest of the post so you can go over and check that out. But I'm not going to let that rating, having read that, bias me. So we'll see how this performs for me. Just looking at it now, wow, it's nice and firm. Actually, I'm bordering on hard here. I've taken the liberties of clipping it already, doing the Dickman cut that I prefer to do. And this is, of course, the torpedo. It's called the Samba, so it's the Brazilia Samba. I probably should have said that right up front, and I didn't. So yeah, there you go. It's hard to tell with all the light. I mean, everything has a sheen in here because of the light. My face, the furniture, but it does appear that there's a good amount of oiliness to it. I do see a little hole in the wrapper, and I'm kind of trying to see if I can. Let me see if we can show that. Yeah, you might see it, if you really look at it. There's a little hole in the wrapper there. Actually, there's another couple right here, so we've got a few little flaws, a few bumps, and actually the veins, while there's quite a few, well, yeah, there's quite a few of them, they're actually really mostly fine, so they, visually the cigar still looks pretty nice and round. So, yeah, really nice. Let's see, anything else? Let me just pull up, like I like to do, fall back on the Cigar Cyclopedia Guide, and let's just quickly read about the details of the cigar. The wrapper is from Brazil. The binder and filler are both from Nicaragua. And here's what they have to say. Here is a full-bodied, powerful blend of tobaccos introduced in 2001. With larger ring gauges for full enjoyment of the blend, Brazilias are offered uncellophaned in Brazil green colored boxes of 20. And let's see, and they got some other sizes. An Anaconda size, a Perfecto, was introduced in limited edition in 2004. Limited production of 70,000, blah, 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 blah. Not terribly relevant. So, that was exciting. Alrighty, well, I am going to go ahead and light this thing up, and we'll see how it does. I'll chime back in, and if my editing is any good, I'll be able to put in a little porn groove for McLovin. He really wants the 70s porn groove, so we'll see if I can work a whole image porn groove thing on, and yeah, let's hope that works. I'm crossing my fingers. Alrighty, I'll be back in just a minute. Well, I thought I'd come back and give you an initial little thought. Sorry about the fan noise. I try to keep this place a little clear so my wife doesn't kick my butt. But I've gotten a little ways into it, enough to kind of give you an update on the taste so far. Just give you initial impressions of it. I'm getting a lot of kind of dark chocolate and leather combination. There's something else there, and it's hard to put my finger on it. This is this is a Brazilian Cameroon wrapper, so I'm thinking that something else might be the bit of fruitiness that I usually get out of a Cameroon, kind of an earthy fruitiness, but it's really hard to distinguish. It's a very interesting flavor, but I mean, I'm liking it. I think it's a great tasting cigar so far. Just give you the whole 360 of the cigar. Yeah, with sound effects, that rocks. You know that rocks. Okay, yeah, and the other thing that, of course, this is the second one of these I've done, so like the time before, I forgot stuff. I did forget to mention that I did a little looking around. It looks like these run for about 108 a box online, give or take some change. Looking at roughly, that breaks down to about $5.40 a smoke. It's not too bad for something. If you check this out, it's pretty significant smoke, and so far it's been good. I've been enjoying it. So, like I said, I kind of expected to get some pepper out of this, but I haven't really tasted much in the way of pepper. There might be just the slightest bit of spice around the edges of the tongue on this, but so far no pepper. So I'm just gonna go ahead and chug along on this then, and we'll be back in a little bit and give you an idea of what's happening with the cigar. So see you in a few seconds. Well, the day's insanity continues. I'm going to go ahead and chime in on how the cigar is going. We're probably not quite through the first third yet, but I've got some things that I'm going to have to do on this machine to try to salvage this latest edition of the YQMA that may script this video. So I want to get as far into it as I can before I mess it up. So we'll cross our fingers here. Yeah, so far I've been enjoying it. You'll note it's got a nice, very light, very solid ash. The burn line's been a little flaky initially, but it's kind of it's kind of even out. It's decent. I mean, you can't expect a razor edge usually. So I got a lot more. I was talking about the dark chocolate and the bit of leather, and I'm not getting quite as much of the leather now, but for a while there, it just bowled me over with the very sweet chocolate and kind of fruity. So it's like I don't know, chocolate dipped fruit that I was smoking here. So it's been really enjoyable at this point. I'm smoking through it, and let me see if did I have anything else? Oh, now would be a good time for the deer in the headlights thing, because it's been one of those days. So there we go. We got that out of the way. McLovin will be very happy. If the rest of this video is complete crap, we will have had the deer in the headlights again. And I wasn't going to do it again, but I needed help. So yeah. The other thing I didn't mention earlier, that the interesting aspects of the scent of the wrapper. It's a little late now to go sniffing on it, but I did notice it actually tasted kind of like hay and leather, which was interesting. I usually don't smell leather on the wrapper when I'm giving it the good old sniff. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and we'll hope for the best. Hope for the best with the stuff I'm going to be doing with my machine in the meantime. So if this is the last portion of the video you see, you know that I completely destroyed my box. So we'll cross our fingers and hope for the best. See you in a second. Well, I'm back a little earlier than I expected to be. I just wanted to point out when I'm smoking this, so far it continued to be a very enjoyable smoke. A lot of chocolate flavors to it. I'm still getting some sweetness. It's just a little bit inside the second third, and actually got some interesting flavors. I got what I thought was kind of like a sweet raisin flavor, and then coffee. But again, well, not again, I didn't mention it before, but I am drinking my CAO Chino, so that's any coffee I get out of this is a little suspect. But what I wanted to point out is, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that. Let's see, there we go. there's a little rip in the wrapper that's winding up away from the burn line, which, aside from the little holes in the wrapper, has been the only real flaw that I've seen so far in this cigar. It's the ash is still very firm. It still looks great. It holds on for about an inch, and it's already ashed once at this point. So it's still performing well. I'm still liking it. I was just looking over at Walt's older review, and one of the things I like to address when I'm revisiting these cigars, I guess is what I'm doing here, is just see if I agree with what he's saying. And in his review, he said he said not too much further into the stick, I was hit with a barrage of flavors. I was getting a nutty flavor, which I haven't gotten, as well as pepper, bitter chocolate, and a sort of woodsy flavor, all of which seemed to come and go quickly, which really added to the complexity and made for a great smoke. I'm not really getting the same amount of complexity. Now, it could be that he's smoking the Robusto size, and again, I'm smoking the Samba, the Torpedo. So, of course, that tapered head changes the way the smoke travels at your palate, so that will affect it. I haven't found this to be as complex as Walt did, but I have found it to be really enjoyable so far. So, well, I'm gonna smoke it. I'm gonna keep smoking a little bit further, and I'm gonna probably try to get it right into the final third before I come back in and put out some final thoughts and what I thought of the cigar. But so far, if it keeps going the way it's going, if it doesn't explode in my hand or something like that, I think I'm gonna like it. That's not gonna be a big mystery at this point. So stay put, and I'll be back in just a second. Well, I'm back. Not quite to the first third, but it's getting really close. I just wanted to make note of a little transition in my drinking scheme. It's been a rough day, and accordingly, this has probably been a pretty rough video. So I thought that a rough day called for a change of drink. So I am now enjoying this. It's bigger than my head. I'm now enjoying this Brazilia with a part of the Irish Holy Trinity of stouts. This is probably the lesser known of them, Beamish. The other two being Murphy's and, of course, Guinness. It's going really well with the cigar. I'm actually really enjoying the combination. So far, as it's been going through the second third, I've noticed some more, some earthy, sweet chocolate, and I've gotten some leather. I've gotten a little bit of pepper here and there, but not as much as I hear people typically get out of this. Again, it could have been the coffee, and now the beer may actually be drawing out more of that leather flavor. And I noticed a little bit of sweet, like a sweet berry finish in it. So that's really interesting. It was just barely there for a little bit. So the next time you see it, that band will be gone, and that probably will be my last take on the cigar. I'm doing my best to try to keep this short. I've been chiming in so often, I don't know if I've really accomplished that, so we'll see how it goes. But stay put, and there will be at least one more update. Well, I'm back again. If you can see through all the haze that's circling my head. One thing I've noticed, and this is, I'm probably going to be finishing the review with this little comment. But one thing I've noticed, by the way, I was just curious to see if get the band to stick to my head like you can a bottle cap, and that works actually. It's surprising. It may fall off while I'm talking, but we'll see how that goes. But more importantly, a little bit of a I don't know what it. I guess it's kind of a runner, but it's not. It's keeping pace with the burn line. I'm pretty sure you can see that in the video. That started about halfway through the second third, or towards the end of the second third. I wasn't paying close attention to it, but looking at the wrapper, I can tell that it's going to continue for at least another, probably half an inch in, at the very least. That's just what's showing from the slight discoloration from the burning. But yeah, it's it kind of looks ugly, but it hasn't really affected how well the ash holds on. As you can see, it's still a nice length of ash. And I'm in the final third, and and this won't come as no surprise to anybody that I'm finding the cigar to be a little fuller. The leather's really kind of taking prominence right now. I'm not getting as much of the dark chocolate. And, the spiciness has actually picked up. There's some spice, and the pepper's a little bit more noticeable. But honestly, I wasn't getting much pepper until I got into this final third. And it just kind of, suddenly starts picking up. And I think that's the point at which a lot of people will put a cigar down. If I were in a cigar shop, I would probably take this opportunity to set it down and go grab something else, because, your time in a cigar shop, it can be a little limited. So it's nice to go out there and, take advantage of as many smokes as you can. So I would say at this point, I did enjoy the cigar. I think it's great. I actually like this torpedo shape. I've noticed that in a lot of cases I've been kind of partial to the torpedo vitola. I like the way the tapered end kind of projects the smoke at your palates a little bit more. It's a little bit more controlled. So that's kind of nice. It's it makes for a fun smoking experience. So I would say, yeah, I like this. I like this cigar. I would recommend it. I will be smoking it again. I do have at least one of these left. And honestly, it's one of the cigars I think I should. It's one I should smoke. It's one I think about smoking a lot, but for some reason I don't smoke. And it could be, the proliferation of new smokes that always seem to be coming out. You've had your nubs coming out. You've had everything else under the sun, the decade, and all that stuff that's come out recently that's gotten a lot of attention. So it's easy to kind of pass these by, but these are great. And in my opinion, this is it's kind of funny, but this is, I think, what the Sopranos should be, and isn't. I think this is a better smoke than those are, which is kind of funny that they're coming out with these smokes, and kind of what I get out of this is kind of what I expected to get out of that. So. I don't know, if you've been thinking about smoking the Sopranos, I would say go ahead and pass on that and save yourself some money and pick up this Brazilia. I think it's great. If you like the Brazilian wrappers, I think you'll enjoy this, and I think if you like Maduros, you'll enjoy this. So I liked it, I'd recommend it, and I will smoke it again. So, thanks for watching, and let me know what you thought, and I'm hoping that this wound up being a shorter video, but honestly I can't tell. I had some technical issues, as I mentioned earlier, and also the cigars had some interesting quirks to it, so I had to chime in a little bit more often than I expected. But hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and until next time, long ashes.
Days are in the cards I feel it in the changing winds. I feel it when I glide, so tall.